Hello guys, and welcome back to my Pokemon FanArt series. Today again we're looking at some more Powermon from DarkSilvania's series, so let's get going. There's some really cool designs coming up today. Let's go. Now today we're starting off with a very slightly complicated chain, but hopefully you guys will be able to understand it. We're going to start off looking at Ligma. It's an electric type and the spark Pokemon, and the description reads: Ligma lives deep inside the marshes and bogs where their bodies blend into dark environments. Their bodies constantly generate sparks which ignite the gases around them, creating small balls of fire. So that's pretty cool. Looking at its design, it does look pretty cool. It's got like a sort of a plug, I would say, plug-shaped claws, and a very evil looking face, and you can definitely imagine it being an electric type, especially with the sparks coming off its feet. You can imagine it sort of floating around and stuff like that. Now Ligma evolves into Elfu at level 30, and it leaves the item Fiorstone. That leaves it, so that like it just appears in your inventory, I guess, or it holds it as it evolves. Bear with me, guys. And then Elfu is an electric dark type and is the dark elf Pokemon. Elfu are mischievous Pokemon who live deep in the woods or inside caves. Their long mane-like hairs store dangerous amounts of energy, which they can focus through their nail-like claws. Their signature move apparently is Plasma Detonator, which is an electric type, has 5 PP, 120 power, 90% accuracy, and is a 2-move turn. On the first turn, the Pokemon passes lots of energy inside the opponent, and on the second turn, the Pokemon makes the trapped energy to detonate, so it calls it to detonate. It has a 30% chance of paralysis, so you can imagine it would be a very good move in game. You can imagine some moves, some sort of abilities and stuff would counter it, stuff like that. It'd be a very interesting move to see. The design for Elfu looks really cool. I don't know what's going on with its feet exactly. I guess it's like plugs, as I was saying, sort of thing. And it's the dark elf Pokemon, obviously, you know, referenced in its ears and such. Its claws look pretty cool as well. It's got 3 nicely spiked claws, and bands on its arms, nice and thick bands. But yeah, you can totally imagine it being an electric dark type. So we have Ligma, Elfu, and the Fiorstone. Now moving on to look at Verial. So Verial is a flying type and is the air Pokemon. Verial are gentle Pokemon who live in the wind, deep inside the forest. Even when their gentle bodies can drift in the wind, they can create powerful currents of air with their wings. So again, the design for Verial looks pretty cool. You can imagine it being like a fairy sort of thing, floating through a forest. Very good. I can imagine if it were in game though, being a fairy flying, not just flying. But yeah, I mean it's the airline as the creator describes it, so I can imagine it totally being just simply flying, but it might include some fairy, especially since it mentions sort of forest and stuff like that, so you know. And Verial evolves into Valkyria at level 30 and leaves the item Lopped Feather. Very similar to how Ligma left the Fiorstone, it leaves the Lopped Feather, so keep that in mind, guys. And then here we have Valkyria. It's a flying steel type and is the Valkyrie Pokemon. Valkyria are strong-willed Pokemon with fierce tempers. They live in high zones where they pass most of the time in the air. This Pokemon can punch the air to create wind shockwaves that can take down a plane. Very bad. Its signature move is Cyclone Punch, a flying type obviously. 5 PP, 120 power, 90% accuracy. The Pokemon launches a shockwave of compressed air to the opponent with its fist. If the opponent is in the air or levitating, it's double damage. So that's very good, obviously, for battling and stuff, especially for flying types. You can totally imagine it being a counter to flying type, especially since it's a steel type, because then it, you know, resists the flying type move as well. And the design looks very good. It's obviously a mix of a Valkyrie and a fairy sort of thing. Is it Valkyrie and fairy? Aerial, so fairy sort of thing. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, you can see the steel typing in there. It's got a turbine for its central bottom, I suppose. And then its 2 fists are like, I guess the holes are like where the fingers come out. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, it does look pretty cool, the mask and the wings and stuff like that. So then we have Patrol. Patrol is a poison type and is the fuel Pokemon. Patrol live deep underground where they can move easily thanks to their oilish bodies. Legends say when a Patrol encounters with 2 mystical elements, a monstrous power is unleashed. So, just looking at Patrol first, it obviously based on a troll, it looks very good. The poison is obviously referenced in the design, but it's not too much, and obviously you got some, you know, some black there as well, just to, you know, emphasize its poison type sort of thing. and obviously the design and the swirls look very good too. And mentioned in the Pokédex entries there, the two elemental items were obviously the Fjord Stone and the Lopped Feather. Now, Patrol will evolve into Ragnetto when the Fjord Stone is used on him while he's holding the Lopped Feather. So obviously you'd have to give him the Lopped Feather and then use the Fjord Stone. And it will evolve into Ragnetto. Ragnetto is a fire poison type. It actually says firefighting on the design, which is why it says firefighting on there, but I don't know why. Sorry about that, guys. And it's a fire Jotun Pokemon. Ragnetto are incredibly rare and powerful Pokemon, said to be among the strongest fire types of all, with powers comparable to legends. One of these says that one day a singular black Ragnetto will rise his fellow ones and altogether will burn the world. So a very dark tale there. Its signature move is Incendium, which is a fire type move, 5 PP, 120 power and 90% accuracy. The Pokemon launches a wave of fire that will scorch the ground. The field will turn to a burning soil, and if Pokemon is switched into battle, the burning ground will hurt the new Pokemon. I assume that means they get burnt. So obviously, you know, it's kind of like an attack, and then sort of like spikes or the other thing, Stealth Rock or Toxic Spike, something like that, but for burning, which is an interesting sort of thing. Because we got one for poison at the moment, so why not one for burning and stuff like that? I think it's a good idea, and the design for Ragnetto looks amazing. I don't have to say this, I don't have to stress it too much. You've got the fire coming off its arms, sort of the heat emanating from its body. It's got the markings on it, similar to, I think it's a Jotun, that's what it's based off, I'm guessing, so a totem sort of thing. I'm not exactly sure what Jotun is, but the markings on it look amazing. The face looks pretty damn cool as well. The bottom jaw looks like it's just what you'd imagine, really. It looks really freaking awesome. Tell me what you think about this one in the bottom, guys. Now, this whole chain is a fire tetrahedron, a configuration that explains how fire is created by combining a source of heat, being the spark, so Ligma and Elfu, and the Fjord Stone, oxygen, being the air, so obviously Verial and Valkyria and the Lopped Feather, and then petrol, so obviously Patrol, to create a reaction fire, so Ragnetto. So, and also many Nordic creatures are referenced in here, I'm guessing, so, you know, sort of like a troll, stuff like that, really. I'm not exactly brushed up on my Nordic myself. So, moving on. So, next up we have a sort of a huge line, I'm guessing. It's not really a line, it's a star, I guess we could say. This is the elemental Kelonios. That's what they say, elemental tortoises, tortoise, etc. We're starting off with Tortivo here, so let's get straight on with it, shall we? Tortivo is a normal type, and is the evolution Pokemon. This little turtle Pokemon can evolve into many different forms depending on a special item you give him. So I'm guessing it's just Firestone or Duskstone or stuff like that, I'm guessing. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail with that. So the design on Tortivo looks very good. It's obviously got elemental stones on it and colours and stuff, which references the fact that it can evolve into many different types of Pokemon, which is good. And obviously it looks like a tortoise, so yeah, nothing to complain about there. So now we have its first evolution, which is Krakato. It's a fire rock type, and it's the Vulcan turtle Pokemon. It says, calm and peaceful, he likes to sleep under the sun, but if he's awakened he would explode with the power of a volcano. So, the design for Krakato looks amazing. It's obviously got volcano craters on its back. It's gone red, obviously, so red referencing the fire type, and the volcano is referencing the rock in it. So very good, really. I like the design a lot. It's sort of like the Torkoal we never had. So, you know, Torkoal is just a fire type, so obviously it should really be fire rock. So obviously, you know, that's where I'm thinking of there. But the design looks amazing there. I'm liking it. I'm liking the concept. So let's move on to the next one. Next up we have Voltortle, which is an electric steel type, and the description reads, Electric was the electric generator turtle Pokemon, so a long one there. His steel body generates and absorbs incredible amounts of electric energy. When he walks near a city, he can create shortcuts, you know. So, the design for Voltortle looks amazing. You can definitely see where the steel's coming in, and the electric because it's coloured yellow. I'm liking it, definitely. One thing to note about all these evolutions here, they're all dual types sort of thing. So we'll see about that in a minute. But yeah, definitely looks like an electric steel type. I'd love to see that in game. I'd love to see this whole thing in game. We need another one like Eevee, really. So next up we have Refortor as well. So it's a water ghost type. You can definitely see sort of the ghost bit with its coral growing on it. It's a bit ghostly. Not exactly poison, but ghost. And obviously it's based on some sort of, it's more a turtle than a tortoise. But you can definitely see the inspiration and design there. So what's the description for it? It is the it's water rock type, not water rock type, sorry, water ghost type. It's the reef turtle Pokemon, and he lives near the coral reefs, and during his resting period they attach to his shell, making him look like a living coral reef. So, you know, he just like sits in the coral and the coral climbs onto his back, so it's not actually part of him. But yeah, coral lives anyway. And next up we do have Cacturtle, a grass ground type. Cacturtle is the desert foliage turtle Pokemon, and the description reads, the shell of this Pokemon is covered by a hard and dry type of ground. Due to this, the only kind of plant that grows on it are cactuses. Now, the design for Cacturtle looks amazing. It's got huge cactuses on the back, it looks cool. Obviously the description is similar to Torterra, the fact that it's got like dirt on its back, but obviously this is hard dirt, as it's just said, so obviously just cactuses. But you can definitely see where the grass and the ground come in. The grass obviously from the colouring and the plant, and the ground from just its main body, I guess. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is, I do believe, it's Grifortle. Where are we looking? Grifortle, yes. It's a psychic dragon type, and it is the heaven turtle Pokemon. And the description reads, this Pokemon possesses an enormous sense of must and honour. He is known as the Golden Winged Knight. So, the design for this one, I don't like it as much as the others. It does look a bit fat for some reason. It looks too much like a griffin, less like a tortoise, sort of. But the design looks pretty good anyway. Definitely the wings and sort of the floating orbs, I guess, because obviously it's referencing the psychic type. So yeah, again, looking very good. And then next up we have Kotortle, which is a dark poison type. Description for Kotortle reads, it's a snake turtle Pokemon, and it's vicious and treasoning, I don't know. This Pokemon hides his long neck and tail into his shell, looking like a normal turtle, only to launch his toxic bite to confident prey. So, very good indeed, I like it. The poison and the dark, obviously mixing very well there. Spikes on the back, poison sort of stripes everywhere, working very well. I love it. I want the whole line just in the games now. And then last up today we have Glaciatul, an ice light type. It is the iceberg turtle Pokemon, and the description reads, the body of this Pokemon reaches temperatures of minus 100 degrees Celsius. When he walks around, the moisture in the air turns to frost. Very good indeed. Obviously the light type we don't have, but that's just to like sort of complete the whole dual typing. They all have two types. It's not like Eevee where it's just one type. It's two types, which I think it makes it even better. And obviously you can see on the design for Glaciatul, icebergs on the back. You know, it's cool. So overall, like as I mentioned several times, I love it. I might go even say I like it more on the Eevee line, simply because it's dual typing, which sort of gives you a better something you'd find in a later game, whereas Eevee is towards the start. There's this Tortiva might be in the later game, after the game, in the after game. So obviously once you've evolved it via a stone or whatever, you do get this awesome dual type Pokemon that's very powerful indeed. So guys, what do you think of these designs? I hope you guys enjoyed the kind of extra long episode today. We only looked at 2 lines, but I'm going into very detailed here, so I hope you're enjoying it anyway. So guys, I'll be seeing you next time. Leave your thoughts on these Pokemon down below. Bye!